Hello friend, today we will discuss about the static storage class. So far I have discussed about the auto storage class. If you have not gone through that video, please see that video. Today, first in the static storage class, first we will discuss about the default value of storage class. Later we will discuss about the scope of the storage class, lifetime of the storage class, and where does it store. Okay, let's look into where what is the default value of the storage class. Please guess here. Can you guess here what is the default value of static storage class? Okay, let's take one example. I am writing one example to explain you what is the default value of static storage class. Just check here. Has include stdio, sorry, stdio.h. This is the header file which is required for print function. Main, writing main function, declaring one variable int I, okay, and prepending static constant to declare it as a static. Then I am printing value of I. So here we can confirm what is the default value of static storage class. /n then I. Okay, let's compile here. We'll use GCC. Okay, it will be create a.out and we'll run it. Okay, look at here. What is the default value? 0. So by default static variable have 0 value. Okay, so if we declare here, if we assign some value, then it will be changed. We are talking about the default. Let's take one example. Here we are assigning I is equal to 10 of static variable. Let's compile here. Compile a.out 10 value. But we are discussing here default value. So we will not assign. Okay, let's compile again. It will be remain 0. Okay, so we are discuss here the default value of static storage class is 0. Okay, is that clear? Okay, great. Okay, now see in this example we see we are declared int I as a static storage value, variable, but as a local. This is called local within a block. We can say it is a local. I am talking about here. Is it possible to declare static variable as a global? And what will be the default value of global static variable? Okay, let's take one example. So I am just copying p1.c to p2.c. Let's open here using the vi. So just I am cutting here and pasting here. Okay, now guess what is the default value of global static variable? See, we are declaring one int I with static total class and we are printing its value. Let's compile it. This time we'll take output in p2 file and we'll run p2. Oh, 0. So we are concluding here, if we declare static variable as a global, then also default value is 0. So we are concluding here static variable, either it is global or local, it is default value is 0. Okay. Now second, where does static variable store in memory? So till now we have seen when C program enter into the RAM memory, it has a 4 section: stack memory, heap section, code section, and data section. So here question is, where does static variable store in memory? So let's check here. So in data section, first answer is data section. Static variable store in data section, but there is in data section also two part: uninitialized section, initialized section. If static variable is not initialized, then it will store in uninitialized section. It is called BSS. If static variable is initialized, then it will store in initialized data section. Okay. Let's take one example and verify this. These are the command to check this whether where is stored in data section, initialized or uninitialized. Okay. So we'll use that last example. So we'll take this one. So in this code, in this P2 code, we are declaring, we are not assigning any value, whether it is global. This concept is same for global static or local static. So we are not assigning any value to I. So it should store in an uninitialized data section as per this. Okay, let's verify. So let's compile again. So it will be not confusing. Okay, p2.c gcc output in p2 file, then size p2. Okay, so here you can see in data section and BSS section. Okay, so data section size is and 600 and BSS section size is 800. So here let's check example here. Let's see code here. Sorry. So here this variable size is 8 byte. It taking 8 byte. Here it taking integer 8 byte. Okay. So it's stored in BSS section. BSS section is nothing but uninitialized data section. Okay. Let's declare one more variable as a this time I will declare as a in local. Okay, so it will be not confusing when j. Okay, now let's compile this and now check size. See, this BSC section size is increasing. This means static variable, either it is global or local. If it is not initialized, then it will store in BSX section of data section. BSC is nothing but uninitialized data. Let's verify if this portion initialized data section, initialized data. Okay, now let me assign some value here and compile p2. Now check size p2. See, this size has been reduced, this size increased. Okay, earlier it was 16, now here 600. See, data initialized section 604, here BSC section reduced. So from this we conclude that if static variable is initialized, then it will store is initialized data section. If it not initialized, then it will store is uninitialized data section. Got my point? Okay. Now third point, when it will reserve in static variable, when it will reserve in memory. So simple answer is when program enter into RAM, memory is reserved for static variable. When program exit, memory will be deallocated for the static variable. This is simple thing. Okay, so let's take this example. We can discuss many more things by using this one. Let me write what is the example. Okay, see, we'll take one third example here. Include, sorry, include stdio.h main. Okay, okay, so, okay. Void apc, just giving some function. I'm declaring or defining one function, static int I, and just printing it just for example purpose. I am printing this one. Okay, see, in this case I am declaring this static variable in one function but not calling from function. Okay, just compiling it. GCC -o p3, sorry, Let me check what is the error. Okay, oh, I forget semicolon. Okay, now it is clear. Sorry for this. Okay, now in P3 when we run nothing. But if you check size, sorry, size P3, see, BSC section 8 byte because this is uninitialized. Okay, so from this we can verify that when for static variable when memory will be allocated when program enter into RAM, that time all the static variable memory will be allocated, and when program exit then memory only destroyed. Okay, this is super clear now. Okay, third, next one, what is the scope of the static variable? Scope, so till now we discussed like a global static variable and local static variable. Okay. Now, what is the scope of a variable? If we are declare global static variable, then within a file, within a file only we can access. Other file we cannot access. Suppose you have a two file p1.c, p2.c. You are declare global static variable in p1.c, so you cannot use in p2.c. This is simple logic. If it local static variable, if it local static variable, then within a block you can use it. Let's take one example. See, here we are declare in p3.c, here we declare I variable. This is local static variable. So in this block, this is called block. In this block only we can use this I variable. We cannot use outside of this block. Okay. And suppose if we are declaring one more variable, static integer variable. Okay, let's say this one. So we can use this variable throughout the file, but in other file we cannot access. This is simple logic. Next point. Okay, so till now we have discussed what is the default value, where does it store, what is the scope of the value, scope of the static variable, and lifetime. Lifetime is when program enter into RAM, then it memory created for static variable. When program exit from the RAM, memory destroy from the for the static variable. Okay, now we'll see some more information on this. So I'm copying this p3 dot p3.c to p4.c. Okay, see here. Now I'm calling this ABC. See here stdio.h, just header file inclusion for this filter function. Static variable global variable declaration. I am removing this portion int main function. One more function ABC static int I ABC. Now I am calling this function from main function. Okay, just observe, and I am declaring this function before main because I am using ABC function here. Okay, now you see, observe here, just observe. Sorry, GCC hyphen O P4. Now run this P4, zero value, zero. Okay, now if I call this function multiple times, okay, see, all time variable value zero. So here till now we discussed like this memory allocate when program enter into RAM. Okay, so observe this I value memory for I is allocated in RAM, and it is not declare not initialized, then default value 0. I'm calling this, it will be print 0 again, print 0. See, this memory allocate when program entered. So whenever, when how many times this function call this memory, again this statement will not execute. I mean it memory will not allocate. So only this statement program when program enter, then only memory allocate. So, since it is default value is 0, it will print 0 only. Okay, Now let me think, let me put this way. I'm commenting this function, just calling one time. Now I'm declaring, assigning some value 10, let's say 10. Compile, exit, 10 value. See, this time I have initialized. Okay, so calling second time. See, 10 only. Okay, now I increase this I value. See, increase I value, compile, run it. See here, before dot c, here I'm calling this function two times. In first time it will print 10 because we are assigned with 10 value, then 10 is right, then I'm incrementing 11, then again this function is calling, then this statement is not executing because memory allocated when program enter the memory, enter into RAM memory, and then this I is printing. Now I value is 2. So let's check one more time, third time. So again it should print 12. Okay, so got my point. So here initial value was 10 when program enter into RAM, then printed 10, then value of I variable is increased to 11, then second time is called, it printed 10 11, increased to 12, third time is called, printed 12, and now its value is 13, but again we are not calling, then it will print up to 12. Okay, so from this also we can verify that for static variable memory is allocated when program enter into RAM. Okay, now let's take one more example. This will be super clear for you. If I dot c, see here I am not assigning value directly to variable creation, but I am assigning another other way. GCC hyphen o p5. See, every time time it reads. Why? See here I'm calling this ABV function, and this function I will it has I value 0. Since program entered to RAM, this memory allocated for I. See, I am not talking about here dynamic. Here I am talking about normal memory allocation. So I value 0. I assign it value 10 to I. It is printed I 10. Okay, this one. Now its value is 11 because the increment operation. Then again it's calling a variable. Then again I am assigning I is equal to 10, so it's printing 10. And now again it becoming 11. Third time I am calling, again assigning 10, so it's printing 10. So this, because of this, is printing 10 line. Here assigning initializing static variable with some value and assigning a variable, this is different thing. So these two difference what we have seen in this last two example. Okay, okay guys, so till now we have discussed static variable. Whatever static variable information I had already I given to you. Now please, this is now your responsibility to like this video, subscribe this video, subscribe this channel, and share this video. If you find this lecture is useful to you, then please share to your friend also, and please like this video and subscribe this channel for more upcoming videos. Thank you.